Hello, everyone out there in YouTube land. It's Joel the Geek, and I'm here with.
Magic Lasso!
Oh, look at that! Oh my! He's really wonderfully ready to go.
I am. I'm
Yay!
excited. Thank you so much for asking me to come on and
Yeah.
talk about a topic that I know something about.
Yes, I think you do based on your name alone, right?
Yes. Yes. Exactly. But today is Wonder Woman Day,
Whoop,
and you can
whoop.
actually Google this, and it really is National Wonder Woman Day.
And I think it's the 86th year of her being around. Is that correct? When I looked it
Let's
up earlier?
see. That would have started in, no, it isn't that long. So 83rd.
83rd, yeah. 83
Yes.
years.
She looks pretty good
Good
for
lady.
83 years old.
Yeah,
Some people can't pull off stars below the waist at that age.
right? She's doing a great job of it.
Yeah, she's rocking it.
Well, if you already are joining us, I can't tell. Let's see who's joined us. Anyone join us in the comments? I don't see any comments yet.
They'll get
Let's
here
see.
as YouTube starts sending out the notifications.
Right? Well, let's talk about why we're here. We're here to talk about Wonder Woman, like we just said. But I think the best way to start off is what they call the meet cute.
Okay.
So for you, when you now you know what a meet cute is? Should I
No,
tell
I
everyone?
actually never heard that until you mentioned it to me the other day in a private
So,
message.
so meet cute is a term that they use in romantic comedies of when the main characters meet each other. They come
Okay.
together and they meet for the first time. So we're using that in this regards because a podcast I follow called Geek History Lesson. They use that as when they talk about a new character. Like, when did they first meet the character? What was that like? So my question to you, and then I'll answer it, is when did you first meet cute Wonder Woman?
My plane crashed on an island of all women. Oh, wait, that wasn't me. Uh,
Say,
Sounded
sir,
familiar, though.
did.
Yeah. Probably the most asked question is exactly what you asked. It's never been asked in those words to me, but that is the most asked question.
Nice.
And really, at first, I didn't have an answer for it, but one of my friends, Comics for Thomas, really told me after listening to me answer this question a few times. He told me what the answer was, and when he said it, it made perfect
Oh.
sense, and it is the answer from now on. I didn't pick Wonder Woman. She picked me.
Oh. Oh, okay. Well, now I want inquiring minds want to know, how did she pick you?
So I love comic books from as far back as I can remember. And growing up as a Bronze Age child, I grew up in an era where there was a lot of superhero stuff going on. And when I say that, I mean superheroes were on live action, they were on cartoons, but the superhero merchandise was everywhere. They
Oh,
were on the Underoos, they were on Halloween costumes, they were on swimming trunks, on flip flops, on mittens, shirts, clothing, any type of clothing. They were on lunch boxes. All of this, and it was of every superhero, and it was seeing all. And I was always gravitated towards Wonder Woman. I knew her first, to my knowledge, not from the Linda Carter TV show, although that was on at the time. I
okay.
first remember her from Super Friends, the cartoon.
Oh
And
yeah.
I had some Super Friends and Justice League comic books. And I actually remember saying to my parents, I really like Wonder Woman. And they said, well, she has her own comic book. And it was like, blow my mind.
Nice.
And they went looking for it and they couldn't find me one. So they said, well, we'll keep looking back each week because it comes out every month. We'll keep looking back and going back and try to find you one. And I still know which issue it was today that they got for me, which was my first Wonder Woman. Like I said, I had her in other comic books. My first
Okay.
issue of her own title was 245.
Nice.
And, obviously I have experience with the Linda Carter TV show. And she, I took in my life a lot of flack. And flack is a nice word of saying that, for liking this character. And it says something about a character, I think, when after all of the grief you took over it, you're still like, I don't care. I still like her. I don't like you. I like her, you know?
Right? That's
So
awesome.
she picked me, and I'm very happy she did.
She's great. Yes. That's great. That's a great way of learning about how you met her. I appreciate you sharing that. For me, it was, I think, definitely this right here.
I know what that is.
And I just happened to buy this about a year ago at my local comic book shop. The
Okay.
owner was decluttering his DVD collection and happened to have this, and I got it for a good price. But this is what I remember growing up was the first thing was this was in syndication. So I wasn't seeing it when it first came out because when it first came out, I was years old.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
came out. It was on syndication. I remember watching, going, "What is this amazingness?" And then they showed a movie that predated that with a blonde woman, and I forget who
Kathy Lee Crosby was
Kathy
her
Lee
name.
Crosby, and it wasn't the comic book version of her, but it was a Wonder Woman character.
It
So those were
had pieces of it had
it did.
pieces of the comic book version
Yeah, yeah,
that were kind of twisted.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
sure, yeah. So it was those were my two mute cues, but then I always loved Greek myth and Egyptian myth as a kid, and when I saw this on the newsstand,
That's
I
something.
mean, look at that.
Oh yeah, that's
So
something.
much Greekness, Greekophile was intrigued, but also the fact that it was Wonder Woman. So that was my first comic book, which is the first issue of Volume 2.
Yes,
I don't think I'll
1987.
ever be able to find Volume 1 that's under like 10 grand to buy.
No, you won't.
They would have to have like no cover, only 4 pages, and maybe one staple
Yeah.
for me to afford it. But that's my meet cute. That's where I started meeting her. So I think if I was to look at the CLZ app and see how many like what characters or what I have there of my comic books, it's X-Men and Wonder Woman. Those are the
Okay.
most comic books I have because they're the
What
ones.
is your oldest Wonder Woman comic book?
Was
Just
that?
in term, what is your oldest Wonder Woman comic book? Not necessarily the first one you bought,
Well,
but
yeah, this is the first one I bought, but the oldest one I
okay.
have, I think I don't have it close by, but it is, I think, from the volume one, and I think it's 2 years before Crisis hit.
Okay.
And I'm trying to remember the storyline. It was something where she gets amnesia and she's trying to remember who she is. It was almost like a retelling, one of those comic books where they didn't know what to write, so they just made a retelling of her storyline kind of
Hmm.
comic book.
A soft reboot.
Yeah, soft reboot
Yeah.
in a way. Yeah. I can't remember what issue it was, but it's and it was like I think I got it for like $5.
Okay.
It's not in the best shape. It's not a very mint, not even near mint condition.
Sure.
What about you?
The oldest that I have in my collection is 49, I think,
Wow.
which Golden Age, obviously.
Wow.
49 is one of the issues that is referenced in the Seduction of the Innocent book, if you're familiar with that.
Yes. Do you want to tell
So,
everyone out there in the world what Seduction of the Innocent is? Do you have ability to do
yeah,
that?
I can give you kind of I think his name was Wortham. Was that his name? I
Yeah.
think it was. This gentleman in the 1950s was saying comic books are corrupting your children and their morals, and they're bad and they need to be gone. And he wrote this book citing all these examples of how subliminally these comic books are influencing and hurting your children. And the book was called Seduction of the Innocent. And that actually led to the formation of the Comics Code Authority.
It did. It changed the comic book like industry a lot.
It did,
Until
and
the 1990s.
one of the examples that he cited for Wonder Woman was in issue 49, and what he was saying in the story in the story, Wonder Woman takes in a young girl who has no family left, and she like essentially adopts this girl to live with her, and that's as I don't know what the word is. That's as wild as it gets, okay? But what Wortham was trying to claim in his book that she was grooming her to be a lesbian.
Ew. What?
Exactly. And there's nothing in that story that
Gives me a headache just hearing that.
I know. But
Uh,
I mean, it's an interesting issue to have in my collection just for the historical part
is
of it.
that is that is that Donna Troy that she adopted, or
No,
is that a
no.
different one?
It's
Oh,
it's just a
a
one
girl she
character,
dated.
one issue.
Yeah.
For my collection, Silver Age Wonder Woman started in issue 98.
Okay, wow.
I have Silver Age on up.
Oh, wow.
So
Nice.
I have 98 for her own main title. I have 98 through present. And then I have
Wow.
some scattered Golden Age issues before then, but my oldest is 49.
Cool. That's awesome. That's an endeavor to hunt down and get all those. Wow.
It is. One of the issues, 105, is considered scarce according to the Overstreet Price Guide. Although
What
I have to say, for a book that's scarce, I've seen it in the raw a couple times.
why do they think it's scarce, I wonder?
Very low print run.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, I'm in the process of trying to get all of volume 2. I have
Okay.
a very massive amount left to get. I picked up 8 this weekend at Bellingham Comic Con. So I'm slowly working through it. And part of the reason I have a big gap was I'm not the biggest fan of John Byrne
Okay.
as an artist. Um,
Mhm.
so I stopped reading it when he took over, and I had like the first issue he had, which is 100 of volume 2. And I just was like, I'm not really into this. So I stopped reading her. So it led to a big gap that led to me not getting things like Liam Sharp and Greg Rucka's original runs of her comic books. So I'm getting back into it, and I'm buying those comic books. And luckily they're not too expensive. I spent $3 to $4 on each book this last weekend when I got them, so they're not too expensive.
The John Byrne run is very interesting on Wonder Woman.
Yes.
One thing, just artistically, John Byrne Wonder Woman art looks a lot different than John Byrne X-Men art. Night
Yes.
and day different.
That's part of the reason I was like, "Oh, I don't like this."
I
I
get
don't
it.
know.
I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
John Byrne used to use the excuse of, his Wonder Woman had 2 big stars on her shorts. And when he was questioned about that, his answer was, well, there's actually a lot of stars all over her shorts, but she's moving so fast that people can't see them. It just looks like 2 really big ones. The reality of that is you don't want to draw all those stars. That's the reality of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's John Byrne, the artist. John Byrne, the writer, he did have some respect, I think, for Wonder Woman. And there's a few things that he did that I liked because he brought back some characters that hadn't been used. He brought back Giganta.
Yes, he did. That's right. I heard about that. Yeah.
He also decided there needed to be a Wonder Woman in the 1940s. And to try to put all of that back into continuity, he made it Hippolyta. Now, some people didn't like that.
It was an interesting thing. I didn't understand it at the time, and I never found out what other than that he wanted to bring her back, bring her back into the 1940s because the crisis just erased her from that time
Yes,
period.
it did.
So, yeah, yeah.
And some of those stories I really like.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I
Well, I
really
don't have
like
those
those
issues yet, but I'm getting
Hippolyta.
them, so hopefully.
Yeah, I'll be excited when you read that. Like I said, artwork aside, he even brought back Egg Foo. I mean, my gosh,
Oh,
it's a
really?
gigantic egg, and he brought
No,
you you don't know or you do.
I didn't know.
He brought Egg Foo back, and if you guys don't know who Egg Foo is, just Google it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
something. It's Silver Age DC, and it's out there.
Yeah.
It's a gigantic egg.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Um,
And the name though, that's just a little on the awkward side, but
Yeah.
that was the
But at
silver,
the same time too, I think someone that didn't care about those characters wouldn't have done that.
right? Yeah. It shows to me that he did care. It's just I couldn't get into the art, but then I got some later issues like here and there I picked up.
Mhm.
The thing I thought was weird was that when he made the Invisible Jet a almost a living, breathing sort of
Yeah,
entity that then became
the Wonder
something that
Dome.
it was confusing and I didn't understand. So
Yeah. He did the Invisible Jet, and then after he left, they advanced the Invisible Jet to become the Wonder Dome.
that's
Which,
what it was. Okay.
but the Wonder Dome came after him.
Oh, it
And
came
that
after. I thought that was during his
yes,
run. Interesting, because
they used what he introduced in his run to become the Wonder Dome. And a
okay.
lot of Wonder Woman fans who, first of all, Wonder Dome was supposed to be like her headquarters. Okay, it was like a satellite thing. Okay,
Okay.
and a lot of Wonder Woman fans didn't like it and called it not the Wonder Dome, but the Wonder Dome.
Oh no, I didn't know
So
that.
yes.
Learning all things new here. Learning new things. That's great.
But
Yeah,
after but after the John Byrne run, I mean, you start getting those classic Adam Hughes covers, but
right.
those are just covers. Then I think you have to really jump to the Phil Jimenez run of Wonder
Yes,
Woman
I do
because
have a
that
lot
is
of that stuff.
really good.
Yeah, Phil Jimenez. So my meet cute for Phil Jimenez was actually at San Diego Comic Con
Okay.
when he started doing Teen Titans. I
Okay.
got to meet him, and he was cosplaying one of the days as Tempest.
Oh wow. Wow.
Him and a gal named Devin Grayson. They were on the book together. I don't think Devin's done too much since then. I think she's done a Huntress and maybe a little Wonder Woman and some Teen Titans, but she hasn't done much in the last few years. But yeah, that was my first time meeting Phil and seeing his work and just how much he was. Yeah, he was great because it was almost like seeing what Perez and Marv had done. Wolfman
Yeah,
had done.
he's Perez light.
Yeah, he's very Perez like, and but he's made it his own and done his own
Yeah.
stuff with what it was. But yeah, I have a bunch of his run. When I heard he was back on the book, I started getting his stuff, but I'm missing still some issues, so I'm trying to get those as well.
So I own a couple pages of Phil Jimenez original art from Wonder Woman.
Nice.
And when I met him, I've met him a couple times. The first time I met him, what was so interesting is he was signing one of the pages for me, and he said, "What happened on that page?" He said, "I just drew a flashback to this very page this week."
Oh wow.
Which of course, months later I saw in an issue.
Yeah.
And that was so cool to know. He's like, that's so interesting that this piece of paper is in front of me when I just drew
Oh wow.
a flashback to what happened on this page. So that was pretty awesome.
That was great. Hey, there's John. Hey, John.
Happy Wonder Woman Day.
Happy Wonder Woman Day. So yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I did like his run on on it. I'd love to get more of it, but I have not seen him since then because I got his recent Historia work he did with
Mhm.
Kelly Sue DeConnick, and I had a chance. I almost had a chance to see him and like get his autograph and see him again, but like life happened and I wasn't able to get to
Sure.
that con he was at. But I'm hoping he comes to the Pacific Northwest again, and I can talk to him again and like just share some stories and stuff. It'd be great to see him for that reason.
Yeah.
Let alone getting him to sign stuff. But that's really cool. You got some original art.
Yeah, I do. I'm lucky that my OA days, because it's just gotten so expensive. I think that my OA days of owning stuff that's published is done.
Oh.
But I'm happy with what I have. I showed last night on Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. We did a retro review on the Cheetah, and I own a Cheetah cover from the Bronze Age. Wonder Woman and Cheetah. So that's pretty awesome. I own some interior pages from the Bronze Age. I own some Phil Jimenez stuff, and I'm happy with what I have for sure.
Cool. That's great. That's really great. Yeah. I don't have too much original art because of just how expensive it is too.
It is,
like,
yeah.
I remember back in the day when you'd go to the cons and they'd sometimes have the big actual pages of what they had printed from at their booths. I actually saw there was someone I think at Bellingham Comic Con who had some stuff, but like it's like in the hundreds of thousands of dollars range, and it's just like ooh, ooh, yeah, yeah. It's interesting to do, but like it's one of those things. It's like a niche within a niche of hobbying.
Oh yeah, it sure is. But sometimes the original art can look even more stunning than the published page.
Yes, I agree for sure. So speaking of collecting things, let's get into our list of things we collect that we have. Let's see. On my list of things we can do is next is our top 3 non-comic book media or related Wonder Woman things. What do you have to share? So when we say non-comic book, like toys or art or other kinds of media, what do you have to share? What's your top?
So what I picked, I love all my Wonder Woman collectibles. Well, okay, yeah, some I like more than others. But I didn't necessarily pick like this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3. I did with my comic book covers that I'm going to show.
Okay.
But I like, and I have a huge stack, most of it boxed up. But I did go into the storage a little bit, especially the older stuff is what I like the vintage stuff. So I pulled out 3 pieces that I wanted to share, and I also wanted to share something tonight that like I've never shown on YouTube anywhere.
Ooh.
So I wanted to do that too. I wanted to have something special and a little bit unique. And this was my original Duncan yo-yo from when I was a kid.
Duncan yo-yo.
This is how I learned to work a yo-yo.
Awesome.
The backside is just the logo.
Nice.
Original string.
That's so cool.
That's one thing that I pulled out because I thought it would be fun.
Nice.
And this was bought like off the shelf. I'm sole owner of this.
That's cool. There's probably not too many people that still have one of those left out there. That's great, man. Oh,
yeah.
Exciting.
Do you want me to keep going, or do you want to take a turn and then go back and forth? Okay.
So, where did it go? I just had it in front of me. Oh yeah. Well, I already showed it, but I'll show it again.
There you go.
This lovely box set. Like I said, so I was just at the comic book store getting my regular weekly comic books, and as I was leaving, they had a new shelf up of all these DVDs, and I stopped and I just saw this on the shelf between some other things, and I was just like, I looked at the manager who was at the cash register, and I'm like, "Sir, what is that doing there?" And he goes, "Oh, I see you see it." Side note about my comic book store. My comic book store, the guy who runs the comic book store, knows me a little well, that he'll sometimes put things out that he'll know I'll see.
Yes.
So
which means that's a very smart store owner.
Very smart store owner.
Yes.
But this was and it was only $20, and I looked online and it goes for $50.
Yeah, it does.
So I got it for a good price, and it was really wild to rewatch this at this day and age. But the coolest thing about it is the first episode, there's commentary with her and the director.
Yep.
And it is the greatest thing in the world.
There's also commentary on the first episode of season 3. My teenage idol was missing.
Watch that this week.
Yeah, there's commentary on that too from Linda.
But she is so nice to him, and they're talking about all the flubs and all the things that led up to it, and how she got to where she was chosen.
Yep.
Yeah. John, original string, didn't even know that was a thing.
By the way, Joel, you can click on those comments and they'll show on the screen.
Let's do that.
Just to let you know.
There we go. Show.
There you go.
There we go. There it is. John's comment. Original string. Didn't even know that was a thing. Nice. That's a very nice rhyme there, John. Yeah. Very nice rhyme.
He's a poet and didn't know it.
He is. All right. What's your next one that you have?
So the next one I picked, you can tell by all this art on my wall how much I love, So I really am really into art, posters, that type of stuff. And I have a lot of Wonder Woman, like stuff that could qualify to go on the wall. Maybe someday I'll put it up there. I picked something that is very hard to find.
Oh, okay.
Even on eBay, like I think years go in between this even coming up on eBay. And when it does, it goes very high. It's a poster. And I want to share this with you. It's huge. I have mine framed.
Oh my gosh, I've seen video of this in pictures, but oh my goodness.
I don't know if you want to make me full screen for a minute.
Let's do that.
Sorry for the glare there.
Oops, wrong one. Wrong one. How do I make you full screen here? Let's see. Where's the button? I can't find the button to make you full screen.
Should be the same button that you hit for you, only on my corner.
Nope. I'll figure this out.
Okay. So this is a George Perez poster called Wonder Woman Through the Years that was done for her 50th anniversary. And I don't believe this artwork has been used for anything else but this poster.
No, I don't think it has.
You have all the characters there. I mean, all of them.
Wow.
There you go. This was hard for me to find, even as a collector.
Jeez.
So,
and I'm glad you framed it.
It had to be. I would, in my last place I lived at, it was in my bedroom, and I would just lay on my bed sometimes when I couldn't sleep and just stare at the thing because it's so awesome.
Same.
That
is so cool. Like all the different versions of her outfit and how she looked, and all the different villains and stuff too. You got Dr. Psycho, you got Silver Swan. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
I mean, you have the non-powered Diana Prince there in the corner
Yeah,
in the white.
yeah. Oh,
So
oh, there's Hermes. Oh my gosh,
yeah,
there's so much in this.
this is
This is
everything.
this is phenomenal. That is phenomenal.
Yeah, so that's the second thing I wanted to share.
That's cool. That's cool. All right, so the second thing I have, where did it go? Oh, yes, it's I have to get it off its display. It's flying high above us. Oh boy. Here she is.
Oh, there she is.
I mean, you can see her. I'm just
I see
holding
her.
this
I don't see anything
invisible
else.
thing.
Yeah, I don't see anything else. She's just suspended in air.
I just got this last summer. I was actually at a show, a toy show, selling comic books and stuff, and the person next to me had this on their corner of um, their booth, and I got it for $40, and I had to bring her home.
Yeah.
And then you can't see it, and I can't make the camera go up there, but I there's a company called Superhero DIY, and he makes 3D printed stands for Funkos. And I messaged him and sent him a picture saying, "Do you already have one for this?" And he goes, "Yes, I do." So I
I
bought
was
it.
not familiar with them until you posted about them, and I've
Yeah.
saved them, and I want to order. I'm planning on ordering sometime in the future from them.
Yeah, and they have so many different great ones. But I was very excited when I saw that they already had something for this, and it's great because it sticks out from the wall. It's not in a way where I'm going to hit it with
Yeah.
my head or something else. And like you staring at that picture, there are sometimes I sit on my couch and I can just look over and stare at her. Just how wonderful
There
she
she
is.
is.
Yeah. All right. So what's your last one? What do you got?
My last one, I want to go back and do something vintage again, but this was something vintage that I knew about as a child, and my parents wouldn't buy it for me.
Oh
And then
no.
it went away. But thanks to eBay, it one finally came back into my life decades ago. So ding dong, Avon's here. Avon had a Wonder Woman item that was exclusive to them back in the 1970s. Here's the box. Do you have an idea what it might be? Do you know what this is or what's in this box?
I'm gonna say it's maybe perfume related.
It is not perfume.
What?
No, it's a great box, isn't it? But there's something in here that I'm going to open up.
Oh, you gotta show us. I gotta know now. I don't know. I can't. I learned
Here's
how
a
to
quick
check.
little look
Oh,
at the
it's
back.
very thin.
Yes, it's very thin.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's make you solo layout and let's see, get a closer look at this.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the wonderest of them all?
A makeup mirror. It's great for those days when you gotta put some eyeshadow on and a little lip liner.
Yeah.
Make yourself look wonderful like Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's phenomenal.
I just thought that would be something fun to pull out tonight and share that I've never
That
shown
is
before.
great. Thank you for sharing that. That is
Of
so
course.
great. Yes. Oh, and John left a comment. Yes, that Invisible Jet Funko is epic.
It is.
It is. But this, I think this takes the cake. I mean, you can't find that at just anywhere.
Oh, speaking of cake, I have a Wilton Wonder Woman cake mold too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yes, the Wonder handheld mirror.
Ding dong, Avon's here.
I love that you said that. I was like, oh, because I had family that did Avon, and they, a lot of it was perfume bottles. Like
You'll have to
especially
ask
men's
if any
perfume
of them
bottles that
remember
were
this.
weird shapes.
Remember this. So
That's fabulous. Okay,
Yeah.
my last one is a
Oh,
recent
one
one.
other thing, real quick,
Oh,
Joel.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Speaking of Avon, if the Avon lady falls on your sidewalk, you have to pay. Go ahead.
Oh no.
Go ahead. I say that to people, and they go, "What's an Avon lady?"
Yeah, right. I do remember them. Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So this one is a print by a artist named Stephen Byrne. He went
Yeah,
on
make yourself
to
big.
he went on to do a comic book for the Wonder Universe called the Wonder Twins.
Yeah.
But this he made this before that, long before that, and it's just I just love it because it's her. And oops, wrong button. Wrong button. Oops, where'd I go? Ah, there we go. Ooh, your magic worked. So it's just her in this like jacket, like it's a
Yeah.
motorcycle jacket, and she's got the. I just loved it. It's very retro, but also very new and cool looking. I bought this from him back at Emerald City Comic Con a few years ago when he actually lived in Seattle, and yeah, he's went on to do some really great stuff. But it was one of those things he did. He actually did for a while. He tried to get into animation, and he made a short little um, trailer of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It was animated.
Oh wow, cool.
It was really great. But I
Yeah.
really loved his work, and that's one of his ones that I really loved that I had to have, and I'm so glad I got it framed and I have it up on my wall too, nearby where I can look at it. So that's my
Nice.
non-comic book media that I thought I would share. And thanks for sharing yours. Those are really
Yeah.
great
So
ones.
I'll tell you that my Wonder Woman collection of items, like the type of items that I have that are Wonder Woman related, I have sleeping bags, underoos, still sealed, um, animation cells,
Wow.
original art, posters, shirts. Um, I'm trying to think of more. I have a lava lamp.
Nice.
I'm trying to think of some of the more unique ones, or I
That,
had the 12-inch Mego Wonder Woman line. I had the full line of those boxed.
oh wow.
Yeah, I have
You could do
those.
a whole video just on your collection,
I could do a whole video of me unboxing all the stuff that's in boxes right now. So,
right?
uh, yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate to have a lot of stuff. I've got all those, I forget what they're called, those big wall stickers that are almost life size. I have Wonder Woman ones of those. I forget
Oh,
what they're
nice.
called. Oh, I have the posable cardboard Wonder Womans where the joints all in, and
Oh, the joints. Yeah.
you can make them do poses and stuff. I have that.
Nice.
Um, yeah,
You got enough.
I have alarm clocks,
Oh my goodness.
paint by numbers,
Now
coloring books.
the question is, do you have them in a storage unit or do you have them displayed anywhere?
I used to have them displayed. Right
Okay.
now, everything is boxed, but it's not in a storage unit.
But it's somewhere safe that
Yeah,
won't
it's
be
safe
damaged.
and climate controlled.
Okay, good. Well, I hope you can eventually display a lot more of them because that would be a
Yeah,
wonderful way to show it off is displayed on walls and
sure.
tables and display stuff. So that's really
Yeah.
awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. That's
Yeah, of
amazing.
course. Yeah, it's always fun to. Like I said, I wanted to pull out something that I hadn't shown. I hadn't shown any of those three things ever on
That's
YouTube.
Thank you for doing that. That was so cool of you to do that. I
Yeah.
appreciate you sharing that. That's cool. All right, well then let's go on to comic book covers. What is a comic book cover? The three comic book covers you wanted to share.
So this time I did put them in order, and
Okay.
and this is probably going to be stuff that people who are familiar with me have seen before because I have shown these covers off, or I've you know used these issues for something like Fanboys Live in the Retro Review or whatever.
Cool.
I'll start with my number three, and I will go ahead to tell you that all of mine are Bronze Age because that's my Wonder Woman is the Bronze Age Wonder
I
Woman.
mean, why not?
Yeah,
Why not?
my number three is Wonder Woman 286. Very
Oh,
dramatic cover. My daughter is dead, and there is nothing I could do to save her.
oh wow. Look at that blonde-haired Hippolyta.
This story is based on the cover, is a little bit misleading
Okay.
for what actually happens in the story.
Oh, interesting.
But that cover is something. And I actually own a couple of interior pages, original art from interior pages from this issue.
Oh, so that right there doesn't have much left of it on the inside is what you're saying?
Well, no, I mean like I own the pieces of
Oh,
paper, the black and white,
oh my gosh, the
the
original
pencils and
art
ink.
pages.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
original art. Yeah,
Oh my
from
gosh.
like three. It's two at least 2 or 3 pages of interior original art I own from this
Wow.
issue.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, that would be my number three.
I love how there's at the very top it says, is that a Huntress side story or is it
It
another
is
character?
because Huntress used to have a backup feature in Wonder Woman. John is right. Fatheads is exactly what those are called. I couldn't remember the name, but there's several different fatheads.
That's right. They are called fatheads.
Yeah.
Nice. Thanks, John.
Yeah, but that's my number three, the finale for an Amazon.
Okay, cool. Well, let me show you what I got. So I didn't put them in any specific order. They're all just fun ones I have.
Okay.
This one is, let me get myself to, yeah. It's issue number 4 from War of the Gods.
Hmm.
And I love it because it's full on Perez. Just
Yeah.
just dumping as many characters he could onto a cover, but like the front end of it being just it's really about Cersei and Wonder Woman fighting. Like it's just a showdown between the two of them, and just how like kinetic and moving it is, even though it doesn't look that way. That's one of my favorite covers, I think, right there.
Yeah, that is good. And they used those two main images as the cover for the omnibus for War
Yeah,
of
they
the
used it for
Gods.
the omnibus, and they used it for posters in all the other comic books that were going around too.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really great. So that's one of my number ones.
That's
The
cool.
thin challenged head.
Yes. It's not a fat head, it's a thin, challenged head.
Nice.
Yes.
All right, what's
Just like
the next one you
Albert.
got?
He's thin, challenged Albert. Hey, hey, hey.
Oh, no. Oh my goodness. Oh, funny. Okay,
I'm
what do
dating
you have
myself,
next?
but if I didn't date myself, who would?
Right? Yes, but I got it. We're on the same
Okay.
page. We're in the same generation.
This is not the original art that I own, but it's a Wonder Woman and Cheetah cover. And I
Okay.
think this one is amazing. This is Jose Garcia Lopez, Wonder
Oh.
Woman 230. Isn't that cover just something?
I love it.
The story's really good. We just reviewed that in Fanboys Live this past Sunday, last night.
Nice. Nice.
Great issue. I actually have a signed version of this too.
By the artist or
Yeah, by Garcia Lopez. Signature
God.
King Tony got it for me.
That's so cool. That's
Yeah.
really great. That's really great. That's wonderful. I love it. Oh, I love the. Oh, it's
Highly
so
recommend
cool.
this. Like the last book that I showed, actually all three books that I'm showing are one issue stories.
Oh,
So if you
that's
pick, so if you pick these up, you don't need to have the previous issue or the next issue to get the story.
Nice. That's really great.
Yeah.
Love it. Thanks for sharing that one. Okay, so mine is this lovely
Oh,
one.
yeah.
I've forgotten the artist's name, but it is.
I think that might be a Garcia Lopez as well.
It might be. It is from. Oh, gotta put my glasses on because it's really tiny writing. What issue
Yep.
number? It is 128 from 1997. Oh, it is a Garcia Lopez.
Yep.
It says right there on the side.
Yep.
Garcia Lopez. Just
DC did a month of they call them faces variants or
Yes.
covers, and these were the close up faces.
oh, I just love it. The locks, the crown or the tiara, the
Yep.
earrings, her just the expression on her face. You know, like there's that thing where a lot of women today are told by men, "You need to smile more," and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
"You want me to do what?
Mm-hmm.
You want me to do what now? You're telling me what to do? I don't think so, sir."
That image was made into a print that was sold by the Warner Brothers studio stores back when they existed.
You have such fascinating trivia knowledge. I love this.
Yeah, and most
That's
of what I
really
say is
great.
true. No, just kidding. It's true.
Yeah, so I just love this issue. I haven't read it in a while, so I definitely gotta go back and read it, of course, because I've got all the issues to get it before it and all the issues after it to get as well.
Yeah.
So what's your next one you got for us?
So this is my number one. This is my all-time favorite Wonder
Cool.
Woman cover. And I guess I'll just show it.
Go for it.
Volume 1, issue number 246.
Oh boy.
I don't know what it is about this cover. I freaking love this cover.
What is going? Oh my gosh.
I think it's because we're seeing Wonder Woman do something that we're not used to seeing her do. She's sleeping.
She's sleeping.
And she's got a little autograph picture of Steve.
I
next
know. I
to
love
her.
like
And this
like a
hand's
very
reaching in to grab the tiara.
Zara. Oh my gosh.
And so Joe Staten did the original art or drew this cover.
Okay.
And when I met Joe Staten, I said, "This is my favorite cover that you've ever drawn." And you know what he said to me? And I'll say it exactly the way he said it to me. He goes, "Why?" And I'm like, "You don't think this cover's something special?" And he goes, "No."
Oh no. That's
He's like, "Why do you think it is?" And then I couldn't really explain why. And
just
this issue, you even get to see Wonder Woman do her laundry.
that's something you never see a character do. I've never seen or heard of a character in a comic book ever doing that. Well,
So-
maybe Strangers in Paradise, but
Okay.
not a superhero character.
Yeah. So Jack C. Harris, who wrote the story,
Okay.
he said he actually told me we DM'd earlier this year, and he says, "Well, that was my attempt to try to humanize and show Diana as a real person, that she does
Oh,
things that
great.
everyday people do too." And one of the reasons that John says that he knows this book, and he does know this book, because I
Oh,
had another copy of this book that was in his possession recently.
whoa.
He took it to SDCC and got Jack C. Harris to sign it for me, and I already had it signed by Joe Staten, who did the cover. Sadly, Jose Delbo, who does the interior art, passed away earlier this year.
Oh,
So I don't have it signed by him, but I'm just thrilled to have it double signed. My favorite cover of all time. I have
yay.
tried so hard finding the original art to this.
Yeah.
Either nobody has it, nobody knows where it's at, or it just doesn't exist anymore. I
Oh,
have found the original cover art to so many issues leading up to this one, and it
really?
always skips this one, and then so many issues afterwards. This is always either it's in someone's collection who isn't online in any way, shape, or form. It has been in their collection for a long time, or it had to be destroyed.
Whoa.
I have a great recreation of it,
Whoa.
but the OA, and maybe it's a good thing that I can't find that OA, because that would put me into serious debt, because I don't
That
know if I can
original art
live
was,
without it if I knew I could have it.
yeah, if you could find that original art, which is what OA means, that would
Yeah.
be phenomenal. But yes, it would put you, you'd be a lot of credit card debt or some sort of debt.
I would be working that corner for all it's worth. I couldn't even do this stream because I'd be out working that corner. So
Thanks for sharing that. That's
yeah.
cool.
Although, the way it goes, I would probably have to tell people I am going to sleep with you unless you give me money.
Right?
So
You'll have to go on. Here's my QR code for my OF. You can go
yep,
on
yep,
there and get the
yes,
more you want.
exactly. And then my only feet.
Yeah, you're only.
Yeah.
All right, so my number one pick. It's not my number one, but it's my next, my last one of the ones I picked. This is signed by the cover artist Mitch Gerards.
Love
I
that.
just love this because it's showing what Wonder Woman is trying to be,
Hmm.
trying to show to women that they are worthy, that they are strong, and that they can be well known. And I just love it. And when I got to meet him and talk to him about it, I appreciated his cover and I appreciated his work. And I love how he did it. So there's already a word balloon of this girl thinking about being Wonder Woman, but then
Hmm.
he just made his the same way a little with an
Yep.
exclamation point for his name. But meeting him
Love
was
it.
really great. I talked to him about this cover and why he did it. And again, like I just said, he did it because he wanted to show what Wonder Woman was really about.
Do you
About
know? Do you know if that was his idea or if that was something DC said do this concept?
I cannot remember,
Okay.
but it's just a great cover that he did for an annual, of course, which they're
Yeah.
not put out every day. So
Hmm.
I just thought it was really cool. I was
Yeah.
sure. So
Before we get off the topic of
yeah.
Wonder Woman comic books, I'd love to discuss with you for a minute what you think of the current Wonder Woman comic
Oh,
books,
let's
the
get
Tom
into it.
King.
Let's get into it. So here it is. Let's show them all the cover.
Yeah.
Make that a solo layout again. Yep. So here's the cover to that issue. We both have our copies of it.
Yeah. Although I'm going to say, I personally think this should have been the A cover.
Oh,
I think
hold
this makes a better A cover for the story.
on. I never saw that cover.
I think this makes a better A cover.
Oh my gosh, that makes a better A cover. That should have been the A cover. I agree. Yes.
Okay.
As covers
And
go, I,
yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
What have you thought of this Tom King run and maybe this issue specifically?
Um, well, like John says, it is a great issue. I agree. Um, I was a little miffed that they start over with number one, but you know what? They've gone for a long time with volume one or volume two, and then to volume three. So I was like, okay, that's fine. We can start over.
We're
Um,
actually on volume 6.
I was at volume six now. Oh my gosh,
We're
it's
on
been so
volume
many
6.
volumes over the years. Like it's like the X Men.
Yep.
What volume are we on?
Hmm.
Uh, so I loved his run because you have this narrative going on of this narrator talking about things. And sometimes I forget who the narrator is, but like halfway through the book, I remember, oh yeah, it's the king,
It's Sovereign, yeah.
the sovereign of the US, and his perspective of what's going on in the book. So giving this interesting perspective that I think that I've never seen in at least a Wonder Woman comic book, where you have a villain narrating what's going on there, and I really liked that. I feel like it got a little off subject, and I don't know if it was just because of this all-in.
Yeah, the all-in tie-ins had nothing to do with the story
Yeah,
that
and I
Tom
don't
King
know
was
if
telling.
that's what led it to losing some of the plot or not.
Yeah, I wouldn't say maybe losing the plot, but it hurt momentum, I
Yes,
thought.
that's a good point. It
Three
did hurt
three
momentum.
3 months of being away from the main story hurt momentum.
Yeah, that's a
But
long
now
time.
that we're back into the main story, what an issue to come back into.
Yeah. Yeah, I did like it, but there were sometimes I was expecting more of a grander, like, thing to occur. Like, when she gets that other lasso tied up in that lasso, I felt it was a little anticlimactic how she got out of it, and then we didn't get much backstory on where it came from.
Mhm.
Like, part of me, I love backstories. I love learning, like, historical things about researching things like this. So part of me is like, "Oh," but we didn't get very much backstory of where it came from and where it was created. So that's the only thing I was like, I want to know more about that. But I like the direction they went in. I like the fact that leading up to this issue, when she was captured and kidnapped, she had a plan. The plan that he didn't think of. He didn't think she would do this, and that's bringing in her friends, bringing in her support team to help her. Um, but if we want to get into the issue about the support team, it was kind of sad, but I liked the way he told the story. Instead of it just going, here's her meeting with Steve Trevor and saying, "Hey, I know you're going to do this, but don't do it." Instead, it showed it in this fashion of like day 50, day 32, day 21, day 1, day 5, just showing the narrative in a different viewpoint. I really liked that. But it's sad. It's very sad. But the ending is so bittersweet. I don't know if we want to give away. Do we want to give away the ending? What do you want? What do you think?
I mean, it has been out a week,
It
so
has been out a week. I agree. So I did like.
I tell you what, for those that are watching on the rewind, or even now, maybe in the live stream just aren't commenting, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do some spoilers, but when we get done with the spoilers, so if you want to mute us for just a few moments, that's fine.
Yeah,
Because when we get done, when you see me do this, we're done with spoilers.
that's good. Thank
How
you.
about that? Is that
That's
fair?
great. That's a great consent way. Okay.
Okay.
So her giving birth to her daughter. So leading up to this, there was that other Amazon who at one point said she was pregnant.
Yes,
I
Emily.
thought Trinity was that girl.
I think we all were meant to be led to that conclusion.
Yeah, because it's the idea of like it
Yep.
was sort of like a red herring.
Yeah.
Like, here's this thing that's occurring, and this person's pregnant, and then this issue came along, and to have her, I don't know, like it's still like I'm trying to figure out what it is. The hair, is it hair or what is it that she's using to make the baby?
Yeah,
Like,
it looks like it was strands of hair intertwined
yeah, like
together.
Steve
That's what
and
I thought. Yeah,
hers
Steve and her.
intertwined with something else to then put into the mud and bringing it like. I love the fact that it just brings it full circle back to what the storyline of her creation was originally, that she was
Yes.
made from the mud of the earth and imbued with life from the gods. So I liked that. I did enjoy that, but it was kind of like, whoa, I was not expecting this. But yeah, I wasn't expecting it. What about you? What do you think of that?
So there's a few things that I want to say. Overall, there's some Wonder Woman fans that are really upset with the Tom King era, and you know what? I respect that, and I understand. They say he doesn't love this character. Look what he's done to her. She does nothing. She doesn't. She's hurt in every issue. She doesn't prosper. This isn't the Diana that I know. And you know what? I can't necessarily fight against them for saying that. Wonder Woman's a very hard character to write because she's so many things to so many different people that she can't be all of those things to everyone at the same time.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
So I don't discount what some of those people have said. This issue specifically, here's what I want to say. Killing Steve Trevor, been there, done that. I've seen that done so many times.
Right? Yeah.
It's the same as killing Hippolyta. Been there, done that. Give me something original that hasn't been done.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, what he does do that no one else has done, that scene where Diana gets the flag and she goes into that cave, and that's heartbreaking, and you feel the emotion.
Yes.
Other people haven't done that when Steve died. So he does get props for that.
Yeah.
For bringing that together. And
I agree with that.
let's not forget too, the Daniel Samfier artwork enhances all of this.
Him and King together just did an exceptional job on it. And as someone who has had a family member who passed away and was handed a flag like that, it pulled at my heartstrings, really
Yeah.
did. And it made me think of that, and it was really great that he did it in that respect. And I like the fact that she went to talk to him. She didn't go to get him and bring him back immediately. It was, hey, I just want to see where you're at and what's going on with you.
Okay, something else. The concept of Steve being dead and her going to try to get his soul, that's been done too.
It has. But
It
he
has.
did it in a different way. Instead of
But he
her
did it in a different way.
going to, like, he wasn't having her go to get his soul and bring it back. She went to say goodbye to him because she didn't get to say goodbye to him.
Yes.
And then to find him, I just loved how they played it out. Shouldn't there be someone on the boat? Well, I might have said something to him
Yeah.
that, well, I'm like, not saying that he beat him up, but he did beat him up.
Yeah, he did.
Just great. Just that's one of the
So
things I love about Tom is he brings some levity to the stories. It's not too always too dramatic, but still has some moments of funniness.
a few more things to add in. I haven't been really big on the Trinity character. I think that she's spoiled. And I'm like, how would Diana raise a child that is so entitled?
Yeah, that's a good point.
But
I agree.
here's what I want to say. Knowing that she is really Diana and Steve's daughter makes me like her more.
I
Her
agree.
forming Trinity or Elizabeth out of clay, that's something we've never seen done before. So I'm sitting here talking, you've seen it. This has been done. That's something new, and it makes sense because Diana knows that because her mother did it. It's like a prophecy coming full circle.
It is. I totally agree. Like, she has legacy characters just like Batman and Superman, but she's never had a legacy character who's either, at least in the golden age or the silver age, that's been like her genetic child that I know of.
Yes. Yeah.
And so to have her make, like, in a way, give birth to her own
Mhm.
child was great. But yeah, I agree. There's those backup stories in the other issues about her. She does come across as a spoiled child because of the fact you're seeing her with her brothers, and they're like babysitting her, and they're
Mhm.
babysitting her at Wayne Manor.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I could see that. I could see that. But yeah, I loved how it ended and just the name they used just to give her that name.
I will say a little bit. That did seem a little forced to me. The my grandmother thing. All of a sudden at
Oh,
the end, it's like, oh, P.S. We got to get this in here to cover that. And for those that don't know, and I bet a lot of people know this already, Elizabeth Marsden was a real person and was married to Wonder Woman's creator.
well, the thing
So
is, there's been two different movies that have been made about Marston and his wife and
yeah.
his other polycool partner. And I really like that they made it, instead of it being, oh, my grandfather William, it's my grandmother Elizabeth, and giving
Yeah.
her the homage she does, the credit she needs to.
Sure, because she was an inspiration.
She was an inspiration and possibly helped give him some of the storylines and ideas that appeared in it, because that's one
Yeah.
of the things that happens when it comes to creators is some creators want full acknowledgement and not want
Mhm.
anyone else's name involved. So
Yeah.
I appreciated that they used it. I actually did.
Yeah.
I did.
So that's just kind of generally, a little bit more in depth on my thoughts on the issue.
Good.
Is there anything spoiler wise that you want to say before we get the all clear?
I don't think there's anything else spoiler-wise I can think of. I think we've all
All
covered.
right.
Thank you for that.
So to those that have unmuted at this time, welcome back. We promise no more spoilers. But
No more spoilers.
check out the issue. Once you've read the issues, you can drop us a comment below.
Yes.
That would
Leave
be
a
awesome.
comment and let us know what you think,
Yeah.
good, bad, or otherwise.
Yeah.
But I think you brought up something that's in general with King's run, was that yes, there's going to be people that feel like it's not their Wonder Woman, and that's going to happen with
Correct.
any character.
Correct.
I mean,
And their opinion is just as valid as anyone else's.
yes, yeah. I think that's occurred with many characters. I mean, there's so many examples of other characters, Batman, Superman, especially with movies,
Mm-hmm.
and just like the dynamic of what is and isn't cool or not
Mm-hmm.
cool, pants or no pants. That's the biggest debate with with Superman.
But I mean, you know what it's like for me to finally see Wonder Woman being talked about as maybe one of, if not the best book that's being published right now. That hadn't happened to me in since I started collecting or reading
I
the title. Well,
Yeah,
maybe the Perez did get a lot,
it
but
did.
this seems
But
more than the
Perez
Perez.
was more just insular within the comic book community. This has gotten a little bigger.
Yeah.
People who maybe just saw the movies or the TV shows are like looking at her too and getting
Mhm.
into it. I think that's been helpful. But yeah, it's gotten a little more notoriety in that respect. And it's really, I always think it's annoying and sad that she's only been ever in just usually one book. I mean,
Mhm.
Batman's in 2 books, Superman's in 3 books. Actually,
So
Batman's in 5 books right now, I think.
I would have loved it if she would have had a monthly team up book.
Yes. Well, they
That would have
almost
been
went there. I
great.
mean, they brought back Sensation Comics a few years ago, and
Yeah.
I was excited, and I thought maybe this will be her team book with
Hmm.
the others because you have at least now 3 Wonder Girls
Yeah.
to choose from. So, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, there's so much other stories of other characters that are Wonder Woman related we're not seeing, unlike Batman and
Yeah.
Superman's.
And in the Bronze Age, we had a Superman family title, a Batman family title, which I love both of those books, by the way. Imagine what a Wonder Woman family title would have
Right?
been like,
Or
you
even
know?
just a backstory in the books of the other characters like they've been doing with Trinity,
Yeah.
you know?
That's funny, John. That's funny.
Well, I hope we didn't make you fall asleep by counting the numbers for you here, John.
Yes. And I guess one other thing comic book wise that I know we didn't plan on talking about this, but I just thought of this and I'd love to know. What are your thoughts? This week Absolute Wonder Woman is coming out. Is this something you're going to check out or is this not for you?
I'm looking forward to trying it and see what they said about it is interesting. It harkens back to when they kicked her out of being Wonder Woman and Artemis became Wonder Woman. It's
Mhm.
giving me that kind of vibe.
Sure.
But I'm willing to at least read it and see where it's going and see what happens.
Will you
Because
give
like I
it more
said,
than one issue?
yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
give it more than one issue. I'm gonna give it a
Okay.
few issues, the first 3 at least, and see how it goes. But the fact, like I just said, she doesn't appear in any other comic books. Like it's just this.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a point where there was Sensation comic books and this, and then there was Justice League Dark that she was a part of, which I'm glad they put her in because she's a magic character. She's a supernatural character. She should be in a supernatural book.
Well, back in the Golden Age, I mean, she had her title. She had Sensation Comics, which is also being published monthly, and then quarterly, and then it would turn monthly after several years. She was in a comic book called Comics Cavalcade. It was
Oh,
her, the Golden Age Flash, and the Golden Age Green Lantern. And they would all have a cover together, but the stories inside were 3 separate. They wouldn't interact together in the stories.
interesting.
So
Yes, yes, John.
my
More
wallet
Wonder Woman.
disagree. My wallet disagrees 100% with what he's saying, but my mind is like,
Yes, Justice League Dark. That was, I love the run when they had her in it because she's she's supernatural and she's muscle, and they didn't really have muscle like
yeah,
sometimes Swamp Thing, but she brought muscle to the team.
sure.
Yeah. So speaking of storylines, that's the next bit of information we want to go through is the top 3 storylines or
I
plots.
had a hard time with this, and I apologize for this. I didn't pull books for this.
That's fair.
I just kind of wanted to talk about it, if that's okay.
Sure, we can do that.
And I guess I'm just kind of going off the cuff. I know one for sure that I'm gonna mention. I guess I'll start out there,
Okay.
and that is something that you alluded to a little bit ago when we were talking. There's a storyline in Wonder Woman Volume 2 called The Contest, and then this it leads into a storyline called The Trial of Artemis. And what's happened is Wonder Woman loses the contest, and Artemis becomes the new Wonder Woman. And later on, we find out it's because the Oracle went to Hippolyta and she had a vision that the Wonder Woman would die.
Yep.
So Hippolyta rigged it so Diana would lose, so she wouldn't be the one who died. And something that people don't know about this storyline that I don't think a lot of people know. This was like a 10-issue storyline in Wonder Woman Volume 2 from 90 through 100.
Yeah.
This was based on a 2-issue storyline, Wonder Woman 250 and 251 back in the Bronze Age, with a
Oh,
character, a red-headed Amazon named Orana. Read those. If you like the contest / trial of Artemis, make sure you read 250 and 251.
Interesting. I did not know that was a retelling of that story. Wow.
Yeah.
Fascinating. You have so much knowledge more than I do. I just want to bow to you.
Thanks. Trust me, there's still folks that know much more than I do.
Oh, I'm sure. There's always someone who knows a lot of stuff, but thank you for
Yeah,
sharing that. That's a
of
great
course.
connection to that story. Yes, I remember the contest. It wasn't my favorite, but I was like, okay, well, this is the 90s. We got to
Yeah.
amp things up.
So I'll tell you, John Byrne actually played off of that in his storyline telling too. And that's another thing that I like. He took something and said, some creators come in and like, I don't want to touch anything that the previous teams have done. He took something the previous team had done and played off of it to another effect. And in a nutshell, I'll go ahead and tell you this. Diana dies in his storyline. And the reason is because, her powers were reduced in the contest.
That's right.
Hippolyta never got her powers fully restored. Diana doesn't know this. She goes up against Doomsday, thinking that she's full powered. She's not. And Hippolyta's penance for Diana's death was to become the new Wonder Woman.
I was confused about that because I didn't know about that part of it too. Because I knew her powers were reduced, and then she fought Doomsday, and then Hippolyta had to do this penance, but I didn't connect.
But no one thought that. No one expected Hippolyta to love becoming the new Wonder Woman, and she did. And she was stirring the spaghetti sauce with Wildcat. She was. There's a scene of them in the bedroom together.
Oh no!
And they stirred that spaghetti sauce like it never been stirred.
Almost like John was trying to say maybe Diana's father is someone else.
I don't know about that, but
oh my gosh, that's fascinating. That's cool. Well, let me show you one of my storylines that I like. It's a newer, it's a storyline I just started getting from the issues of the books I've been getting that I was missing. And this is from, hold on, my glasses, I need to say what it is. Issue 28 of Volume 3, and I also love the cover too. It's the origin of the modern cheetah. This is, I think, the second issue of it, but it's also fascinating because in this issue is where they bring in the Bana Migdal, I think that's how you say their name.
Bana Migdal, yeah.
That's
the other Amazon tribe that Antiope left with.
So I just love the cover, but the story was really great. How, again, it's Perez telling it.
Yeah.
And he did a great job of bringing it in. And just telling the story of how his cheetah became cheetah, and just that kind of like Tomb Raider, Indiana Jones character, but really a bad person. Like an actual person stealing for stealing sake stuff, not to put in a museum, which is also kind of bad. But like, she wanted power, she wanted control, and just how that giving us that idea of what she is and who she was in the modern age. I love that storyline. So it's really great that I finally got to read it. So that's one of my favorites.
So I'll kind of piggyback off of that and just say the beginning of the Perez run is something that I would recommend. Maybe the first dozen issues of Wonder Woman, but in the first issue, essentially, you're just getting her origin retold.
You are.
And then in the second issue, Steve lands and she takes him back to America. It's her, and third issue, she's arrived.
Yeah.
Ares has unleashed, the threat of war. A lot of the first Wonder Woman theatrical movie with Gal Gadot is kind of based on Wonder Woman #1 by Perez. Yeah. That's a good era, but there's stuff in there. If you go like through the first dozen issues or so, they have like a bullets and bracelets in the first issue. They call the gun the Flashing Thunder because they don't know what it is. They call it, and you stop to think to yourself, how would a gun end up on Themyscira?
Yeah.
But as you stick with the story, they'll explain why that gun was on Themyscira, how it got there, whose it was, and you'll see some things come full circle.
And well, also you learn why the color scheme of her outfit. Like that's
yes, exactly.
Like that was like the greatest thing within that first 5-issue run, to have that storyline given to us, because it was always just either, oh well, it's an American character, so she's fighting for America. Well,
in her satin tights fighting for her rights.
America.
And they're all red, white, and blue.
Influenced it.
Yeah, there was an influence there. Thank you.
Well, yes, you're right, John. We appreciate your saying that.
Yeah, we are pretty awesome. So yeah, I'll go with the Perez run as a second recommendation.
First 5 to 10 issue run. That's a great starting point. Well, my next one is sort of an off-brand. I like to call it like side one, and it's this.
Oh yeah.
One issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's from
Amalgam.
the Amalgam universe. Back when they decided, when DC and Marvel were getting along enough, they'd let things combine for a few issues. This one is called Bullets and Bracelets. The idea being that um, it sort of plays off the contest idea, except
Mm-hmm.
in the Amalgam universe, it's not Artemis who becomes Wonder Woman, it's Storm.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the story of what happens to Diana, but doesn't tell it from the point of view of like her leaving Paradise Island and being a different character. It's later on, and she's meeting up with her ex-husband Frank Castle, who looks a little more like Steve Rogers, the Punisher,
Steve. Yeah.
and them trying to find their son, who may or may not have been kidnapped by the version of Darkseid and Thanos called Thanoside. And just it's just a wacky. All the Amalgam stories are wacky, but this one is just bonkers.
I wonder if that Storm guy has that Amalgam issue of I think it's called Amazon with Storm
Yes.
and Wonder Woman, where she's on that cliff and she's half Storm and she's half Diana.
Yeah, so it's not
I
that
wonder
she's
if that
half
Storm
half
guy
Thanos,
has that
she's
book.
all Storm, but what if
Mm-hmm.
she was stranded, her family, when they were going back to Africa, instead of flying, they took a boat, and
Yeah.
her agoraphobia happened because the boat sank and she was trapped, and then the Amazon saved her and raised her with Diana.
Yeah.
And then when Steve came along, it was like, oh, we have this contest, and well, Storm won because of her mutant abilities
Mm-hmm.
were greater than Diana's superpowers and things was given by the gods. But this Bullets and Bracelets, it's so wacky and weird and out there. And I loved it then. I still love it now. I read it again recently, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is pure weirdness. And just like the idea of like, you would never think that. What if the Punisher and Wonder Woman got together, but not just got together, but had a baby?
Yeah.
And what would happen to that baby?
Yeah.
It's just, I just think it's wacky and funny, and I love it. So that's one of my favorite plot lines or storylines. So,
That's cool.
yeah. So what's another one you have?
So my last one that I'm going to pick is the one that we actually did last night for Fanboys Live in the Retro Review, because I love this story. It was the introduction of the second cheetah, Debbie Domain. And it's a 2-issue storyline, Wonder Woman 274 and 275. 275 is the one I own the original art for the cover on.
Okay.
What happens is, it's more the cheetah side that's much more fascinating for me in this issue. In the beginning part of the issue, Wonder Woman meets this woman, Debbie Domain, who's an environmentalist, and there's this ocean spill, and that's how they meet, and they kind of befriend each other. You don't know that Debbie Domain is the niece of Priscilla Rich, the cheetah.
Oh, I didn't know they had made her a legacy character.
So what happens is, after Wonder Woman leaves, ironically, she gets a letter from her aunt. She's like, oh, I was just telling Wonder Woman about my aunt. And she's like, I'm dying, and there's something I need to tell you about my life before I go. Come to the house on Friday. So she goes to the house on Friday. She doesn't know it. She's being watched. She gets into the house, and there's a very sick Priscilla Rich on her deathbed. I mean, she's close to going. And she's like, she doesn't even realize at first that it's Debbie. And she's like, I told you, I don't do that anymore. I'm sick. That part of my life is over. And she's like, this is Debbie. What are you talking about? You know?
Oh, giving her.
And then she's like, Debbie, she's like, child, if he's seen you, run. And she pushes her and she dies. Priscilla Rich dies right there. Debbie falls back up against the closet door. Closet door opens. This mannequin with a cheetah costume comes out, knocks her down. The last thing that Debbie sees is some man walking into the room, and it's lights out.
Whoa, cliffhanger.
The organization Cobra, not to be confused with the G.I. Joe one, but yes. Cobra with a K.
Okay, yep, remember that.
They have brainwashed Debbie, and they show her all this environmental stuff like seals being beaten and stuff to really trigger her. And they make her, condition her to become this new cheetah. And she is so savage. She will just rip your throat out and not think twice about it. she's kind of like Poison Ivy. You know how Poison Ivy is so fanatical about environment?
Yeah.
Same thing with this cheetah.
Oh.
This cheetah was so cool and so awesome, and they hardly used her to what her full benefit could have been. But these are the introduction of the second cheetah, Wonder Woman 274, 275.
Oh, that's a great. Oh, thank you for telling that. That is a great story. I love it. I love it.
Hey, I
That's
want to
good
say hi to
stuff.
Charlie. Charlie, how you doing?
Hi, Charlie.
Hi, Charlie, my
Aw.
friend. I do talk to Charlie many Mondays. I get to get a few moments to talk to her. So,
Nice.
and I try to get her to spill the tea for me.
Nice.
Yeah, and sometimes she does.
Ooh. All right. For
Sometimes.
me, the next one is also a crossover. It's not a mainline storyline, and this is War of the Gods. This is the first issue right here. It's a
Yeah.
4-issue series. It is I think it is one of my favorite crossovers that DC has done because
Why do you like that so much?
it's supernatural and it's Greek mythology. I have a thing for things that are supernatural and Greek mythology. Oh,
I love
we
hearing that,
stop to
John.
talk about this.
Yes, that's awesome.
Congratulations,
go.
Charlie!
Way to go.
Yay! Good job.
You go,
That's
girl.
awesome. Thanks for sharing that, John.
Yeah.
Where was I at? Oh yeah, so I love the story because it's a crossover story, but it's involving the idea of not just the Greek gods, but all the pantheon of gods within the DC universe, and how that affects and connects to all of them, and how, again, like I showed the other issue of it, Cersei and Wonder Woman. It really comes down to Cersei and Wonder Woman, and Cersei wanting to gain power. But I just thought it was great because it came on the heels. Pardon me, I go out of sight. Came on the heels of this other crossover that didn't do so well called Millennium,
Yeah.
where, come to find out, people's friends and sidekicks were actually Manhunter robots and were replaced by them, but maybe coded as being dead,
Mm-hmm.
and led to this idea of creating this new superhero group, which didn't do so well. It had some really good points to it, but anyway, sidetrack. I love this more than that, and I like it from other ones because, like I said, it connected it to the whole idea of pantheons of gods and the supernatural, and what would happen if the gods got upset with the world and the universe, and how that would affect the superheroes, especially Shazam, Wonder Woman, and Doctor Fate, because these are all characters that have that, and how that affects. Because in this run of at this time, one of Superman's only other besides kryptonite weaknesses was magic. So
Mm-hmm.
how would that affect him as a superhero?
Yeah.
So I just love the storyline, and it was really cool to see it and how they tried to connect it to the other books that went along with it. I don't know if they have a omnibus or trade for it. If they did, I would definitely own that too.
There is a War of the Gods omnibus.
I'll have to find it.
There is.
Put that in my list.
I'll actually be showing a War of the Gods crossover in my comic book editions video that's coming out tomorrow afternoon on my channel.
Ooh,
Just
looking
as a
forward to
little
seeing
side
that.
note. So, and something else that I'll say real quick too: those 4-issue limited series of War of the Gods. If that's something that someone's interested in, DC did those as monthly facsimiles earlier this year.
Oh, that's
So
right.
your local comic shop might still have copies of those facsimiles still floating around on the shelves.
Yeah.
So
My
if that's
shop
something you're
almost
interested in
asked me to
checking
get them,
in,
and I'm like, dude, I have the originals. I'm good.
yeah,
I got it. I'm good. But that's a good point. They might still have those reprints, those facsimiles of it.
yeah, the
out there.
facsimiles. So
Cool. Well, let's see. Let's left on our list to talk about. Oh, we have one last thing. Trivia.
trivia.
So
Wonder Woman pop quiz.
I got this a while ago, and I never used it in any media, but I was like, you know what? Tonight's a great night to use it.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with asking you a question.
Okay. I'm not
And
looking.
see if
I'm
you
not
know the
checking.
answer, which, based on what you've already said to me, I think you might know the answer.
I'm scared because now if I get the answer wrong, I look like a fraud.
Oh, no, you're not a fraud. It's just new information.
It's just new information.
New
Okay.
information. Okay.
I'm looking for some good luck charm or something to.
Oh,
to
your
help me
yo-yo.
out with. So,
Maybe your
yeah, my
yo-yo.
yo-yo. I'll be a yo-yo.
All right. So this one is a Golden Age story question.
I'm holding my beer.
Oh. Oh. Beer. Oh,
It is. It's beer. I'm holding my beer.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
All right. Here's the question. Oh, pop one open. Aw, she'll protect you. Okay, in Golden Age stories, which villain stole Wonder Woman's golden lasso and freed several prisoners from a transformation island?
Cheetah.
Oh, do you want to think about that before you say that's your final answer?
Oh, Paula von Gunther.
Okay, so this is what it wrote. That you might be right.
Okay.
They put evil less.
No,
EVI.
that's a different character.
That's a different character. Okay, so that's
Yeah.
what they put as the answer.
Okay.
Evil less.
That's an original Villainy Inc. character.
Oh.
Villainy Inc. is John. There's no hope. I've already screwed up the first one. Villainy Inc. was like a group, like a Wonder Woman's rogues put together. So it had interesting characters like Berna the Blue Snowman, which was actually a woman. Berna the Blue Snowman is a woman.
Huh. Interesting.
Can't ask me that.
Interesting. No, not that. All right. So I gave you a few questions and asked me. Do you have them? You can ask me one of them and see if I can get it.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. Which magazine had Wonder Woman on the cover of their first issue in 1972?
I think it's called W.
No.
Is it Woman?
No.
Oh, what is it?
Ms. Magazine.
Ms. Magazine. That's right. Gloria Steinem's editorial debut as her own magazine.
Yep.
Yes.
And it actually was Ms. Magazine and Gloria Steinem that got Wonder Woman from her non-powered mod era Diana Prince back into the costume version.
That's awesome to know. That's so cool.
Yep.
That's okay. Okay. Let's see. What do we want to do next? Let's see. Wonder Woman's first comic appearance was All-Star Comics number 8. What month and year was it published?
Oh, it was published 1941, October 21st, 1941, because today's Wonder Woman Day, and that's the reason why.
I wanted to ask that one specifically because of what date it is. October 1st, 21st, 1941.
Yeah.
Woo!
Here, I'm going to throw one to you because you were just talking about this, okay?
Okay.
In War of the Gods miniseries, which foe reverts Diana back to clay?
Well, that's Cersei, I believe.
Cersei, that's correct.
Yes. That was her penultimate success. She thought she had won.
Yep.
But it was all for naught. Okay. What is the name of the parallel world where the original Diana marries Steve Trevor and has a child?
It's Earth 2.
Earth 2. Not anymore. It's now on 2 different Earths.
Incidentally, it was first revealed that the Earth 2 Wonder Woman married Steve, made her identity public, had a daughter who became Fury of Infinity Inc. All of this and Fury's first appearance took place in Wonder Woman Volume 1, Issue 300.
Wow. In one full issue. Wow.
Yep. It was a larger anniversary issue too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, what do you got for me?
I'll give you another one, but before we get done, I want to give you my own trivia question.
Okay, go for it. What do you got?
Or should I just do that now?
No, just do it now. Yeah.
Okay. This is my own question.
Okay.
What cartoon, and it's not Super Friends, predating Super Friends, what cartoon did Wonder Woman's first animated appearance take place in? And if you want multiple choice, I'll give it to you.
Give me multiple choice.
Okay. In no particular order. Was it Scooby-Doo, the Brady Kids, or the Jetsons?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's Hanna-Barbera. I don't think the Brady Kids were animated by Hanna-Barbera, so it's either got to be Scooby-Doo or I think it's Scooby-Doo. Was it Brady Kids?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
The Brady Kids is the very first time Wonder Woman was ever animated.
Wow.
In a cartoon. It's an episode called It's All Greek to Me.
Oh.
And the Brady Kids team up with Wonder Woman.
Oh my gosh. And what mystery or thing did they solve then? Do you know?
It's something to do with Greece, and there's Diana Prince is in it too. And now she looks a lot different than she looked in the Super Friends Wonder Woman.
So she didn't have that curl bop, maybe.
No, she didn't have that
curly bop.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. You could probably find that on YouTube, maybe.
I'll have to look that up and see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here's another one for you. In Justice League of America, Volume 2, number 13, what did Batman call Wonder Woman in regards to her fighting style?
Oh God, I don't know this.
It's a statement, it's not a word.
It's a statement.
Yeah.
He called her. I know what he didn't call her. I'm not going to say it. I'll tell you. I'll tell you after the show
Afterward.
what he didn't call her. But man, it's good. It's good. But I don't want to offend anyone, so I'm not going to say it. And I
Okay.
could offend someone by saying it.
All right. So the answer is
Oh, I got to guess yet.
okay, go ahead. What do you think?
He called her Superman, only better looking.
Ooh, that would have been a good one too. He called her the best melee fighter in the world.
Oh,
I never thought of her as a melee fighter.
I didn't either.
Huh. Interesting. All right, you got one more for me, and then we'll
Sounds
close
good.
this out.
Yeah, let's see. Which Amazon warrior briefly takes Diana's place as Wonder Woman in post-crisis continuity?
That would be Artemis, or is it Donna?
It's Artemis.
Because Donna did end up taking over it yet later, but that was post
Yep.
something else. I think post.
Yeah, that's volume 3.
Yes, that's volume
Yep.
3. Yes. Cool. Well, that's a good one. Thank you
Yeah.
again for
Thank
joining
you for
me.
asking me.
Yeah.
It's fun. I think this is our first stream together.
Is it now? I thought we'd
I
been on
mean,
something else. Weren't we
have-
on
have-
Comigories together?
I don't remember you being on. I know I didn't fight you on Comic Gories. I know who I fought on Comic Gories, and I beat their ass. So sorry. I love that guy whose ass I beat. And you know, ever since that, John's like, "Come back to Comic Gories. Come back to Comic Gories." You know what I said to him? I said, "Why would I come back to Comic Gories? I won without using my pass. Why would I ever want to put myself through that again and
unless you did like,
stain my record?"
unless you did an All Stars where it's only the people who won came back.
I don't know. I mean, my record's untarnished. Why would I put
Comigories All
myself?
Stars.
I don't know.
Comigories All Stars Season 5 Retro second winners only.
Do you mind if I take a moment to promote my channel and some things
Do
that are
it.
going on?
That's what I was going to ask you to do.
Oh,
Where
awesome.
can people
Cool.
find you and what's going on with your channel?
Yeah, so you can find me at Magic Lasso on YouTube. I definitely would, RIP. I definitely would love to have you check out my channel if you're not familiar with me. Subscribing is a great way to show support. 1K is my goal. But I don't care. You know, other channels have more subscribers, have more views, but I have such great interaction with my people that watch on my channel. And I would love to embrace some more people too. So that would be awesome if you want to check it out. So I do a short each week called Back Issue of the Week. There's a Wonder Woman themed one with a mod era Diana Prince bondage cover that came out today. Tomorrow I'll have a comic book editions video. That's usually my weekly Tuesday afternoon video. And this one is called Guest Starring Wonder Woman. I'm going to show some comic books, some back issues I've recently added into my collection that feature Wonder Woman as a guest star in those issues. A lot of 90s and 2000 stuff in what I'm going to share tomorrow. Ooh. So that's what's on my channel. I do Fanboys Live and the Retro Reviews Sunday nights with Signature King Tony Fett and Comic Food 2814. It's the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. This past Sunday night, last night, we did a cheetah themed one, all in celebration of Wonder Woman Day.
Nice.
On my Instagram, I've been doing a week of Wonder Woman. I started on Sunday and I'm posting Wonder Woman every day from Sunday through Saturday. So nice. Check that out. Tomorrow's post is going to be a volume 4 comic book from 10 years ago. It's a 1 in 100 incentive ratio that you just don't see posted a whole lot.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
It's a David Finch variant.
Okay.
So I'm going to share that as tomorrow's post.
Nice.
But Joel, thank you so much for having me on the show and asking. And I would love to collaborate with you again. I had a really good time.
Let's do it. I'm up for collaborations. I love doing collaborations.
And if you'd ever like to come on our Fanboy show, this is an open invitation to join us on Sunday night. So
I'd love to do that. Yeah. Yeah. If I'm free, I would definitely join. What time is it on Sunday nights? You didn't say what time.
It is It's 8:15 p.m. Eastern, 7:15 p.m. Central, so that would be like 5:15 your time
That's
on
perfect.
Sundays.
I can do that. Definitely. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for coming on the show. Oh, thank you,
Thank
John.
you.
I'm glad we could be here for you guys too.
Yeah.
And for anyone who's watching either on the rewind or not, you can definitely find us both here on YouTube and other places. And as I always say at the end of my videos,
Wait, 1 second
oh,
before you say it, okay?
oh,
One more
oh,
thing. Sorry.
oh,
I'm going to be the special guest on Gary B, the Casual Comic Guys 10/11 tomorrow night. It's a special Wonder Woman edition
ooh.
of the 10/11. So I wanted to mention that too.
And what time
Sorry.
you said was that tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, that's at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, so 5 your time.
That's perfect. That's great. Well, okay. So
Now you
then,
can say it.
as I always like to say,
Mhm.
comic books are for everyone. All right. Thanks everyone for coming.
Bye.
Bye bye.